Hello, Craig. And hello, Theresa. Welcome, welcome. I love it that you're early. We will be starting momentarily. So hang on to your horses. Grab yourself some nice water or tea or juice, because you get a chance to talk a lot. And Craig, nice chatting with you this morning. Sorry, I was in... couldn't give you 100% attention, but don't worry, you'll be a big part of today's grand finale, and I think you'll be pleased. So, see, in the chat box. Let me know where you're connecting from while we're waiting for everybody else. And I am connecting from my corporate headquarters, Las Vegas, which is nice and sunny today in the 70s and bright, looking out of my office window. There you go. And Theresa from London. I know we have quite a big European representation today. How fun. Welcome. And extra kudos to you, ladies, because it's 9 p.m. over there. So you're burning the midnight oil, but it's going to be worth it. And how's, sorry, I have to ask, how's the Duchess Meghan Markle representing the United States doing? Hope she's behaving. Let me see it in the chat box. And welcome, Gillian. Gillian, happy belated birthday. Make sure you celebrate for the entire month. Give Gillian a big birthday, happy birthday whoosh. And welcome, Alison. Fabulous. Let us know where you're connecting from in the chat box and how you're doing today. I know Craig is in Arizona. So we got all international representation. Make sure you grab some liquids to keep yourself hydrated. Gillian from the Big Apple. You know what I envy, Gillian, that we don't have here? Those nice roasted chestnuts kiosks on the side of the street that you never find on the West Coast. I love them. So delicious and healthy. Maybe London has that too. Definitely not here. So make sure you have some on me, okay? There you go. And I did receive your newsletter, Gillian. Great work, great work. Keep it up. Nice. Where are you connecting from, Theresa? Theresa, London. Yes, yes, yes. They have them. I've never been in London for the holidays, but have I? Don't think so, but I'm sure it's gorgeous. And welcome, Gayle. Looking good.
Hi, Helena.
Hi, darling. Let me make you a co-host. Perfect. You can see the screen, okay?
Yes, absolutely. So many people have got their videos off.
Yes, that's okay. We don't make it mandatory. It's recommended, so we create some intimacy and friendship. But
Yeah.
if you're shy, camera shy, we won't intrude your privacy.
I like seeing people's faces.
Of course, of course. You are a very tactile, kinesthetic person. Cheryl, looking good. Yeah, Craig, yes, everybody is muted, but you can unmute yourself, Craig, if you want. So, Nikki, welcome. Lots of lovely ladies. Nice. Yeah, perfect.
Can't get the screen on. Your video, Theresa, is in the bottom left-hand corner. It's probably got a red line across it. If you just click on that, it should...
Yeah, hover over it.
I've got a double whammy off you, Gayle. Hang on.
I'm going to mute yourself, Sharon, for a moment.
Yeah, Craig, I think there's a little feedback. But then you'll be able to unmute later on when you're presenting your big surprise. So everybody, make sure you use a headset if you can, something like that, or a mic, so that, because you know, when we have a lot of people and we're taking a lot of bandwidth, that's helpful. I'm wired in versus being wireless, because the Zoom, it's great technology, but it does use a lot of bandwidth. All right, so I know some people are logging on. We've had a great registration number today. Welcome, Hayley. Welcome, Madeline, another Big Apple fan, and resident Veronica from London. Welcome. Very good. And Sharon.
I can't see you. I don't know what I've done. Oh dear. Hang on.
I'll just go and get my earphones in just in case.
Good. All right, very good. So some people will make it a little late, but let's get started. So we have a lot to cover and everything is recorded. So if you miss anything, you'll get the replay. So we want your participation 100%. That's what a mastermind is. And my name is Dr. Elena Pezzini. I am a doctor in psychology of your career. How many of you like your career? Let me see it in the chat box.
Sorry, just putting these in.
I hope you do. And if you don't, you're in the right place at the right time, because we will help you with that. Right, Gayle and Craig? Yes.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay. And today I have the pleasure to introduce you to somebody I've had the fortune to help and follow for over a decade, who has absolutely inspired me and empowered my team. And I definitely wanted to share her and her formula for success, because I know all of you have an empire to build in your head and in your heart, and together we can make it happen. So Gayle has found an easy and fun and simple formula, and I think together today we're gonna crack the code so that you can duplicate it. So welcome, Lady Gayle Longhurst, all the way from the United Kingdom. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you so much, Elena. And I love the way you call me Lady Gayle. It's one of those lovely touches that you always do. I need to earn the title of a lady. I haven't quite got that one yet, but I can work on that one.
To our eyes, you have already earned it. I'll have a special talk with the Queen to make sure it's official, okay?
Perfect. Perfect.
All right, fantastic. So we will, what we'll do today, we're gonna pick Gayle's brain and heart, and then we wanna hear from you after each section so that we can apply everything you learn to your specific project so that you can also have your next empire. So Lady Gayle is a natural born leader, and it didn't come by accident. She's worked on it. She's had a very clear idea since the get-go. And so let's see what is it exactly that helped her get to where she is today with this level of success. So we're interested in finding out exactly what she does from a day-to-day basis. You know, if there is a regimen, a routine, a protocol to look so good, also to know so many wonderful people. Look at you, and therefore build such a wonderful business. Go for it, lady. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, I'll introduce, I do have an online network marketing business that I've had for the last 11 years with Audible, and I've been in the health and wellness industry for over 30 years now, with various roles, but also specializing in lymphedema, which is a medical condition that people are either born with or is post-op from cancer. And which is wonderful, and I work a lot with insurance. I still see a few patients because it's part of who I am. I love helping people, but that doesn't generate wealth because you are a sole trader or you're employing people, and as we know, unless you have a big business, that is more of a headache in my eyes anyway. And so building the online marketing business absolutely made sense to me to be able to have that leverage of time with the opportunity of the income. So because I'm from health and wellness, the company is about clean living inside and out. It's about healthy aging. It's a vegan-based product from nutrition right the way through from baby to anti-aging. So it sits in the whole marketplace. And knowing that, the desire to be able to be one of the top income earners and to have that opportunity naturally takes vision. It takes a lot of big vision to know exactly where you're going. And for me, that's the key thing. I always believe that the size of people's business will be literally in here, because it's whether it's that big, their vision, or whether it's that big or that big, is literally going to be the size of their organization, of their pay packet, everything. And it's a lot of discipline. So on a daily basis, my alarm goes off at 6 minutes past 5. That's because 5 o'clock seems that edge too early and 10 past seems too late. That's my own mental mind processing. And I'm literally out of bed, downstairs. I juice every morning because I believe that, you know, our system needs a rest from actual food. So I juice 1 apple and then about 12 different vegetables. So that's my 5:30 in the morning, pressing my juice, and then I'm in the gym between 6 and 6:15 for an hour or sometimes 2 hours. And I do that because you have to make space in your day for you. And for me, the first part of the day is best because it's putting my mind in the right place. It gives me the energy. It gives me the mental endorphins, it's physical endorphins. It gives me that clarity. I can focus on myself. I don't need to focus on anybody else. And then I've got more to give, because my bucket's then full. And then I will come back and have my juice and body brush and shower, and then I'm ready by 8:15 to literally emails, and then I can start coaching calls at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, or I may have a couple of patients, and naturally I will have done my personal development. I use a lot of Audible, so that is part of my process while getting ready in the morning with my Audible, and my absolute declarations and affirmations are absolutely key. So that I've really set my day up strong, because I believe that the beginning of the day to set yourself up strong is the key to any leader's success, because then you're in the right space to be able to give, to be able to develop, to be able to coach, to be able to talk to people, go out and meet people, sponsor people, do your research with your prospecting. But it all starts with you, and that's the most important thing, I personally believe.
Thank you so much, Gayle. Let's hear from our fantastic audience here. So basically, to summarize, Gayle has a clear vision. So how many of you have a clear vision in your business? Most of you are business owners. There are some people in network marketing as well, like Cheryl. And to be clear, Gayle owns both a very thriving network marketing business and another business in the lymphedema that she's had forever, for a very long time, and works really well. So they're both in the health industry. She's very passionate about it, and she puts herself first. She, you know, the line, she eats a lot of, she lives a very much of mostly a vegan lifestyle. I do too. And I'm not in the gym at 5, but a bit later. But let's hear from you. Use the chat box, please, or just unmute yourself, the chat box, or you can click on participant and you see a raise hand button. We would love to take a couple of shares to see if you have any questions for Gayle or for me, or anybody. If you want to mastermind about a successful regimen to get your daily successes. So let's hear from at least one person who would like to share. I know we have not shy people here. Nobody's shy with us. So let's hear. If not, I'll randomly unmute. Welcome, Tina. Welcome, Wendy, Tara. Oh, yeah. Sharon, Patricia, Nikki, Nas, Mike, welcome.
Some of the team do Miracle Morning. Perhaps they could share about Miracle Morning. Somebody could share about Miracle Morning.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's hear from, I'm going to pick on Craig. Craig, why don't you share your daily routine, morning routine, some success that you like to start with?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm pretty disciplined and have been. I've owned my own business for over 40 years. I tend to get into a routine where I'll wake up early, and I don't necessarily go to the gym, but I do exercise because I feel I feel better when I do. A lot of my exercise is my mind. So I go into a routine where I clear things out, whether it's email or phone calls I need to respond to, because in order for me to move forward, I have to be clear. I have to be clean and not have anything that's holding me down. My biggest problem is I work too long. I'll get at the computer at 8 o'clock in the morning. Most of my work is done online all over the world. And sometimes I'll stay at the computer till 7 or 8. I'll take breaks, of course. But it's because I love what I do. And for me, I just can't get enough of what I do. But when I'm done for the day, I'm done. And again, I clean myself out of anything that could hold me down or any kind of baggage so that I can move forward to the next part of my day.
That sounds lovely. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Craig. and that ties in with some of the questions. Gayle, do you see them?
I'll go into them.
Cheryl's question in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just looking.
Where does Gayle fit in her meditation and study before 8 a.m.?
Study is when I'm back from the gym, basically, and getting ready. And then I listen to my Audible. So that's where my study comes in on a daily basis. I have many, many training calls that are there to catch up with. I do Halves Tough Love every month. And I do have other people that I listen and train with. And then any meditation is at the end of the day for me. Literally, I know they say you shouldn't meditate before you go to sleep, but that is my time. That's my wind down time, and my gratitude time is at the end of my day. Definitely. Because then for me, all my gratitude and meditation is from everything from that day. And as Craig was saying, decluttering mind, that's when I declutter my mind and give gratitude and thanks for everything that's happened. And I make it about even I say from the road sweepers to the bin collectors to everyone that made my world a better place that day.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gayle. And to answer Cheryl's question, meditation doesn't necessarily have to be like, sitting you could do it anywhere. You can even do it with your eyes open. So, and you can use props. It can be a moving meditation while you're walking in nature, while you're biking, rock climbing, depending on what you like, swimming, petting a pet, drawings, some art. So you can, as long as you do it, and you're focused on yourself, and in order to reconnect deep inside with yourself. So very good, very good. And all right, let's move forward because we have more surprises for you and gifts. So Gayle mentioned the importance of receiving coaching for herself so she can coach others, not only her team, but also her family members, her loved ones. Training, the importance of getting trained and delivering training on her turn, because if we stop learning, we die. Yeah. And speaking, communication is way underestimated nowadays. Nobody really teaches us how to communicate effectively. In school, they don't teach us that, how to communicate effectively with anybody, with your dog, with your team, with your loved ones. So it's important that you continue finessing and learning how you can improve, myself included. I'm definitely no exception. So, but perhaps from all these years of receiving and giving education, Gayle, what have you learned? Some tips that you can share with us for all these wonderful entrepreneurs and business owners who are building their empire just like you.
Well, absolutely. And I'm sure everyone is doing it anyway, because they wouldn't be successful if they weren't doing it, because it is absolutely key. Unless you're a sole trader and you're not out there marketing yourself, you're literally not talking to anyone. There's no way you can get away with not coaching, not doing any training, and not doing any public speaking, because the only way to success from where you are, in my opinion, is growth in yourself, which comes from the coaching that you receive, and then you have to grow yourself bigger to be able to coach everyone in your team, because the more you're helping other people grow, the bigger your business is, most definitely. And the more you're training and empowering other people, that's going to grow your business. And most people would have more of a fear of public speaking than of dying. But most of us aren't born natural public speakers, that's for sure. And I wasn't born a natural public speaker. I was very shy as a child, not that anyone really thinks so now, but I had to push myself out there. Literally, it's that sweaty palm feeling and your stomach is grinding to be able to present in front of hundreds or thousands of people. But that, again, is all part of a vision process. And if that's where you want to be, you have to do it, because the more you learn to speak in front of people, the bigger your business is going to grow. And that's it. You can't hide from it at all, because then you're letting yourself down, because you're not aligning yourself with your goals.
That's right. All right. So remember, these are a necessity. We can help you with that. We have a lot of tools to help you improve it. As a matter of fact, by the way, welcome Dr. Gina from Ireland and all the newcomers, Tara, Raquel, Patricia, etc. Let's see, is Don on the line from Platinum Elite? He has a Toastmasters group, which is actually a non-profit. It's international, as you may know. And nowadays, you don't even have to go to the meeting. You just connect online on the phone. And I've gone to his Toastmasters in Vegas, and it's one of the best organized ones, and specifically tailored to business. Are you here, Don? No. Okay. So, but anyway, I can put you in touch with them, or just look up Toastmasters. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, but we can't hear you. I'm not able to unmute you, Dawn, or your representation. So, but maybe you can share in the chat box how they can sign up, how they can come and attend the meeting. Okay, just like I did. All right. So let's open it up to you. Yes. So one gift, I'll put. We'll email it to you, and and Gayle comes to those, is we can bonus you group coaching. Some of you have been on it already. Let me give you the exact link. And therefore you can get the support of the team, and also you can get the power of the group. Yeah. So I encourage you. We have it every Monday at 9 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. Pacific, and we have literally members coming on from any part of the world. And it is first session is always complimentary. Let me give you. So please come on us and receive some great notions, strategies, and plan. So here's the where you sign up. Okay, let's see. All right, so let's hear from you in regard to if you have any questions for Gayle or for me in regard to these tools about speaking and coaching and training. Okay, so you go ahead and use unmute yourself or use the chat box. Okay, let me see. One second. Okay, share. Okay, perfect.
I'd like to say something, if I may.
Please, please, please.
Well, Gayle and I, Gayle is my sponsor and she's my national vice president. And I've also had the pleasure of knowing her for many years as a friend. And Gayle, for me, has always been an inspiration. And to me, there's an incredibly soft side to her that a lot of people do also know, that she's always been uber professional. But what I would say is over the last few years, over the last 6 years, she has really, really, really excelled, which is why she is so successful. And I would say that that is probably because of her personal development. So she's a great mentor to follow, because, you know, I have to separate Gayle, my friend, my best friend, and Gayle, my sponsor, my mentor, and my national vice president. And I follow her lead in that. And I remember at the very beginning, I was totally uncoachable. I thought I knew it all because I actually used to book business speakers. But oh my gosh, have I changed over the last few years? So I absolutely endorse everything that Gayle has said and more. And, she's just an amazing leader.
Fantastic. Wow, that's so nice, Sharon. Thank you for saying that. You cannot do that with everybody, okay? It's in the importance, going back to vision, having the same vision and respecting one another and creating healthy boundaries, just like you cannot work with your spouses necessarily unless you have some boundaries in place. Gayle is my client, but here we are. We're working together on a common project for everybody's good. So it is possible. Craig is my fellow coach too. And here we are. We're working together and coaching one another. So it is possible with the right people, not with everybody. Good point. Good point, darling. Sharon, that you brought up. So you got a special relation with Lady Gayle here. Congratulations. Okay, anybody else wants to comment? Theresa, Gayle, I'm loving my business, but get tongue-tied in front of groups. Okay, so Theresa, make sure you go to that toastmasters.org. Okay, and then you can pick any one of them. If you want to get on the one in Las Vegas for business, you can hop online and just pick anybody. You can try for free.
What I say when you're starting out is have prompt cards. Literally have prompt cards, cue cards with you, because then it keeps you on track. And you don't go into waffle because you suddenly think, what am I supposed to be saying? I've quite forgotten what I'm saying. So you just carry on talking to compensate for forgetting where you are. So if you've got some cue cards, just with some bullet points on there, then it's much easier to keep you on track.
Yeah.
And then the more you do, the more you get used to it.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Anybody else has any comment? So here's another. Oh, Madelon has a question about vision. Go for it, Madelon. And Madelon is a speaker. She even does voiceover. She has a very charming voice. Madelon, unmute yourself. Let me see. You are unmuted, Madelon. Let me see. Madelon, go for it. Madelon, you are unmuted. Maybe your mic is not working. We can't hear you, darling. Let me see. Oh, okay, maybe. So what's your question? You can ask in the chat box. About vision, what's your question?
I'll ask a question then.
Yeah, go.
So vision, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're struggling with vision, or somebody in your team maybe is struggling to create and paint that vision, obviously that is what people are going to be attracted to. So the bigger your vision, the bigger your business, the bigger people can feel your energy, your positivity. But what advice would you give to somebody who maybe is a little bit, can't necessarily see it right now because maybe the personal development's not quite there yet, or maybe they may have been working on themselves but actually cannot visually see?
Are you going to go, Elena?
Oh, okay. So okay, so this actually ties in with Madelon's questions. There are many ways to visualize what you want, and you don't have to have a clear vision overnight. It may be a process of a week's time or longer, and maybe you write down a little bit at the time. Maybe you go meditate and visualize in a specific place, we were saying earlier, where you know you can relax and connect with nature and connect with your heart. Some people use vision boards, some people use mind movies, and they create movies so they can see their whole life moving, their future life. But I think it has to start with really writing it down. I'll unmute you because there are some sounds. So, and then you perfect it, you keep perfecting it a little bit, adding details to it. Yeah. So, and remember, anytime you visualize, there's some background sound. Is that you, Gayle? So every time you visualize, just make sure that you use all the senses. So what do you see in 1 year from now, 1 month from now, 3 months from now, 1 year from now, 3 years from now, and so on? What do you see? What do you smell? What do you hear? What do you touch? What do you experience? How do you feel? Okay, so colors, people, voices. What do you eat? Drink. Okay, so really that's actually neuro-linguistic programming, and that's used by the best coaches in the world when they train Olympic athletes. Okay, they want the athlete to see the victory, to experience the victory in their head way before they get the gold medal and so on. And so they have to use all their senses. Does that make any sense?
Yes, I was going to say, it's if they can't see it, they have to feel it. They have to feel it first and then see it. So again, videos, YouTube, and it's that question, if money was no object, what would your life look like? And feel it, immerse yourself in it. That's what I say, because then that takes the lid off the mind and it allows it to expand. It allows you to dream more. And then you start feeling that sensation. So if they can't actually see it, for me, I've always had a vision board and had everything on there that to have immediately and for the future. And I've always written it down. So I'd write in green my wealth goals, and I'd write in red or pink my relationship, so my family goals. And very specific and very clear with always I am, and I always say my thank yous at the end of this, and I always put all this or something better now comes to me with these, thank you God, the world, the universe, whichever you want to use, at the end of those. And I always at the beginning of the year have them, and midway through the year, and then obviously wrapping up the year. But I always have those written, and they're part of my daily, what I visualize and go to with my vision board. And it's that allowing the dream to get into the feeling and knowing that it's already happened. It's allowing people to know that it's already happened, because when you know it's happening, because you know that's what you're working towards, and you know you deserve it, so that starts to link in with self-worth if they can't visualize it, because it's that deserving of what they are too afraid to visualize. So if they feel it, they're going to start believing that they deserve it. So then it becomes a whole mind process, but feeling in it and knowing that you've already achieved it is the way that I visualize forward, that I know it's going to be happening. And it's literally a timeline, and time is infinite, isn't it?
Very good. Thank you, Gayle. So like Gayle said, very important, when you visualize, speak as if it's already happening right now. So present tense. I am in a yacht. I'm talking to a billionaire. I'm presenting my new project to Sir Richard Branson, and so on and so on. Okay, present tense, present tense. Good job. Okay, let's move forward. We'll take more questions as we go. You're welcome, Madeline. Great question. How do you, so you cannot build an empire alone, right? You're all clear about that. We all need one another. There are no ways around it. So how do you find the right people? It's just like in real life. How do you find the right life partner? Okay, in business, it's a little bit the same. You know, you're marrying business partners, quote unquote, and affiliates or collaborators or joint ventures, whatever you want to call them, you're basically in a relationship with them. And we have some special tools for you to help you with that Craig is going to tell you about in a moment. Before we do that, maybe you can share, Gayle, a little bit about your best practices.
For me, finding people, again, it's a vision, because for me, we do what's called avatars, and having that crystal clear, literally crystal clear vision of who you want to attract in your business, because you've got to have an ideal in order who you want to work with and who you want to build a team with. And that goes down from gender, hair color, eye color, how they dress, what their lifestyles are already like, what their job title is, what their income bracket is, the type of personality they have, whether they're a driven, focused individual, hardworking, a mindful person. And once you're crystal clear of the age, everything, who you want to attract in your business, then you work from there. Where do I find them? And obviously, age is completely specific of where those people are going to be hanging out. And obviously social media, which social media platforms they're going to be hanging out on, which type of places you're going to find them when you're out and about. So for me, it's about being very clear on who you actually want to then go into your platform of social media that's best for the age, generation, individual career type, and then out and about where you're going to meet people. Is it in the supermarket? Is it in first class, business class? Is it at a school gate? Where is that you're going to meet those people? But that's what I find the best, because then you know where to look.
Very good. And in honor of today, skipping ahead to one of our gifts, and I'll give you the link right now. We'll go back on the chat, and it'll also be emailed to you. We have a very special gift, and my wonderful friend and colleague of many, many, many years, Craig Slavin, has created this super powerful tool that's actually worth $300 per every time you use it. But he has graciously decided to gift it to each and every one of you, good or good. Thank you, Craig, for that, and welcome. Thank you for being here. Explain to our wonderful guest here and audience what this powerful tool is going to do for them.
Certainly. Thank you, Dr. Pezzini, and hello, everybody. What's really interesting listening to the dialogue between Sharon and Gayle is Sharon mentioned that she has this respect for Gayle, and she's able to separate it into personal and professional. But the common link between the two is they have shared values. And that's more powerful than anything else on the planet, is when you have a value system that's congruent with another person. I mean, we've all been in situations where we've looked at somebody and we've scratched our heads wondering why they said what they just said or why they did what they just did. And in reality, they did it because it makes perfect sense and it's congruent with their own individual value system, which may or may not be congruent with yours. So as you build a company, and I've been in business now for 40 years, and I believe, by the way, there's two categories for business owners. There's entrepreneurs and there's egopreneurs. The entrepreneurs don't know what they don't know, and the egopreneurs know everything, and they're not coachable. And that's where the personal development comes in, when they realize and they recognize the fact that, well, maybe I don't know everything. But as you build a company, what's really more important than competencies is shared values. And we realized this a number of years ago, and I've worked with business owners at the corporate level, and I've worked with thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs at the local level on how to build business. And what I've come up with, and I've actually authored a book that entrepreneurship is full of BS. No, not that BS. Behavioral sciences, understanding the why, understanding why somebody does what they do, why they act the way they do, why they say what they do. And if you can know that in advance, you have a predictive intelligence that is so powerful. Well, a number of years ago, back in the early 80s, we assembled our own mastermind of industrial, clinical, organizational, and behavioral psychologists. And we started to look at how can we crack the code and figure out somebody's value system. Now, there were and still are a lot of personality profiling tools. There's DISC, there's Myers-Briggs. You probably, over the course of your professional lives, have taken one of them. But it's not about personality. And the analogy that I use is that if you look up into the sky at an airplane, that airplane produces a contrail. That contrail is what comes out of the airplane. We wanted to go inside the airplane and figure out what causes that kind of contrail. So we knew that we wanted to crack the code on values. Because the bottom line is that if you talk about culture within a company, culture is nothing more than the sum total of everybody's shared values. So we created our own assessment. It's called the Navigator. And the core assessment takes less than 10 minutes to complete. The results are delivered to your inbox within minutes. And what we've done is we've taken an individual's value system and broken it into 4 profiles. And each profile, it's sort of like the ingredients to a recipe. They're all very different, yet it's the sum total of them that makes the profile work and you understand who it is. So we measure and we quantify drive, the fire in the belly. And that's something that you can't ignite. You can supercharge it, but it's either in you or it's not in you. It's either in a person or it's not in that person. But we want to measure it. So the scores come out between 0 and 100%. And we can tell in this continuum where the fire in the belly is. Low scores do not win, and high scores do not win. And we call this the accomplisher. When the accomplisher scores are so high, up in the higher mid to high 80s into the 90s, that's the egopreneur. That's the person that doesn't want to follow instructions, doesn't want to follow anybody. They want to make all of the rules. That's not to say it's bad, but it's the bottom line is it's them, it's who they are. So the accomplisher, and we assign it a color, it's blue. The influencer, and we assign it a color, it's purple. The influencer, the value system of the influencer profile is they value their ability to influence somebody's mind, somebody's decision-making process, somebody's buying patterns. So it's communication skills. So if you're looking for somebody who's really a strong communicator, you're going to want somebody with a little higher influencer score. If you're looking for somebody that is sales adverse and doesn't really like to sell, it would be a little lower on the influencer. The red is the associator, and that's the interpersonal skills, how well they get along with people, whether or not they're going to go out of their way to be liked or to be disliked, or if they're indifferent and it really isn't important to them. When somebody's scores are very high in the associator, they tend to be excessively needy, needing a lot of hand-holding, a lot of touchy-feely. And then the green is the contributor. And the contributor is the selflessness, where the influencer is the selfishness. And the contributor is, what can I do to increase the value, increase and enhance the lives of the people I come in contact with? So the Navigator assessment, of which you'll have an opportunity to test drive yourself. Again, it's going to take you less than 10 minutes. Will give you between 0 and 100% the values for each of the 4 profiles. Everybody has all 4 profiles at all times. What you're going to find is a dominant and subordinates. The dominant profile is what drives you. The subordinate profiles are like the supporting cast in the play. They're just as important. But here's why it's important. When you see the results from the navigator, it's all about you. And as you build a business, it's all about you. And it starts with you. And one of the reasons why people have difficulty creating visions is they don't have a starting point. They don't know who they are. So we talk about the navigator as like being a GPS system for yourself. You know, if you have a GPS system in your automobile or in your smartphone, it always asks you, where do you want to go? That's your vision. But the next thing it's going to ask you is, where's the pickup? Where are we picking you up? What's the starting point? And that's where most people fail. They don't have a starting point. They really don't know what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. So the navigator, excuse me, about 14 years ago, and we've been using it now for almost 25 years. We've built companies with it. A lot of franchise companies have grown by using the navigator as a assessment for inbound candidates for people that want to buy that particular franchise, get into the business. And we use it at the corporate level for building teams of people that have shared values, which goes beyond what's in a resume. About 14 years ago, Ace Hardware, which is a very dominant, very big company here in the US, came back to me, and we expanded on the results. And it now goes into 14 different assessments and 9 categories, ranging from entrepreneurship, leadership, salesmanship, customer service. You'll see it. There's 9 separate categories. It goes across the 4 profiles, identifies if it's a strength, a weakness, an area of focus, and even provides prescriptive information. What could be done to enhance capabilities and competencies in each one of those 9 categories.
Wonderful, Craig. To wrap it up, once they've taken these assessment, then we get the results, right? You and I. And then will you, are you offering anything else to them? Maybe a quick consultation? Sorry, maybe not, but let's see. Let's ask.
Absolutely. Because you need to know who you are, and we can help you. It's surprisingly and frighteningly accurate, and it will become your starting point. It shows you where you're standing, who you are.
Wonderful. Very good. So we'll resend you all of these in the replay, so you have it. And if you don't want to wait, definitely copy and paste this link and take it as soon as you can. Thank you so much, Craig. You're so generous. We're all very touched by your offer.
My pleasure.
Fabulous. Great. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions about this assessment, and or would like to share any more best practices about how to find and retain the ideal team members? Anybody? I know a lot of you are business owners: Cheryl, Gillian, Gina, Madelon, Mike. You do a lot of business, and Veronica, Platinum Elite, and all the other ladies. Anybody wants to share anything? Questions? Unmute yourself, or click on participants, raise your hand, or ask in the chat box. If not, we'll move forward. You're doing so well, everybody. I hope you're learning a lot. Aaron, Gayle, and Greg doing so well. Good. Okay, you can also ask later. So so the empire Gayle built, that I built, that Craig built, and a lot of you built, is worldwide. I mean, nowadays with the internet, you sort of have to be worldwide. You don't, when you are online, you don't know who's gonna see it and where they could be. They could be on the moon, literally. So Gayle, I know you love the diversity. You do rely, I mean, first of all, you know, you work with American companies and you are in Europe. So anything you want to say about what you learned from the different cultures, or how to become global, any tip you have for our audience?
Naturally, with the internet, it's so much easier, and with video conferencing, it's so much easier than it used to be. I mean, with Zoom and Skype used to drop the whole time. So everything is so much easier in the last 5 years than it ever was before, in my opinion. And the fact that we are, I mean, the company that I have is in 6 different countries, from America, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Poland, UK. And it's always being able to look for people that have connections in those countries, because so many people, it's those people who know people. And when you're building a business that is in different time zones, that's the beauty, because that is when your business is open 365 days of the year, 24 hours a day, literally, because naturally Australia and New Zealand are different, completely the flip side of time zones. But in order to get those countries going, you do, like anything, getting those wheels turning, you've got to put the work in, you've got to put the effort in before they start turning themselves, absolutely. And it is totally changing your time zone, your working time zone, to fit in with their time zone. And what you're looking for is to find and grow leaders, and then they lead their business. And that's when the magic starts to happen. It doesn't happen straight away whatsoever. You do have to put that core groundwork in, like any business, in setting those foundations. But naturally, within time zones, you have to absolutely know that your sleep is going to be flipped. You are going to have to be up at different times of the night or first thing in the morning to get those businesses working. But once you found those leaders, then it starts to take off itself. But that is where the beauty of a global business comes in.
That's right. Thank you so much. And, you know, I'm international myself. You hear an accent, very subtle. The beauty is English is the national language, but that may change, right, Veronica? Veronica, you may have to teach us Chinese to all of us. Maybe we'll do a Chinese mastermind. So the way the expansion goes, but it's so wonderful to at the end of the day. I mean, I talk to all 5 continents every single day, and at the end of the day, we're all the same. You know, we all want the same thing. We all want to have financial freedom. We all want time freedom to spend with our loved ones. We all want to do what we love, follow our passion. So it doesn't matter. And then working from home, you can literally be 1 month in London with Gayle. You can be 1 month on the West Coast with me and Craig here. You can be wherever you want. Wherever you want. You can be on the East Coast with Madelon and Mike and so on. So any question about globalization and any tip any of you has to share with our global audience here?
Can I ask a quick question, please?
Yes, go for it, Tash.
So, when we had our last session with you, one of my affirmations was that I want to grow a team in Australia and New Zealand. Now, if I don't have any contacts there as such, what's the best way of reaching out and finding people in a country where I have no contacts?
Well, definitely come to the next Mastermind. It's free, and it's actually co-led by somebody in Australia, and the title is going to be Systematize Your Work to Take 1 week off every month. Systematize your work to take 1 week off off every month. He's an Australian client of mine for many years, and that's what he does. So I asked him to come on and teach it to all of us. So there you go. He can be the first contact that comes to my mind. It's going to be first Wednesday of December. Let me see if there is anybody of you has contacts in
but there's Facebook groups, isn't there? There's Facebook groups.
Thank you. Yes, we have a Facebook group for this elite mastermind. I'm gonna add it to the.
But communities are more found on Facebook.
Sure.
Communities of Australian groups, New Zealand groups, especially with schooling. There's going to be an international school. As well. So with international schools, there's Americans, New Zealanders, Australians, etc. That's where you'll find groups of people.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question. And I may be able to give you the link right now. So, okay, any other question or suggestion, tips anybody wants to share?
Very quiet.
Okay, make sure you all join this group. It's free. Okay, here we go. And you can definitely do a lot of networking in here too. And there you go. And it's connected to our other group that we use for group coaching. So there's a lot of Australians on there as well, and people from all 5 continents. Okay, I'll go back to the PowerPoint. Let me see. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Great question. Time management is a big one. That it's bigger than money management because, as you know, and bigger than energy management and bigger than people's management that we just talked about, managing teams. Time, because unfortunately time has a cap, right? We are all mortal beings. So that seems to be a big obstacle for a lot of people. But we have a gift for you. It's I'll send you the recording of a time management webinar I did. So for free, just email me with what it is, and I'll send it to you with what send to you for free. Info at. But Gayle, why don't you share your precious time management tips while I do this?
The key for me is discipline, because time can be the biggest waste of time if you're not disciplined. And so some people use diaries. I'm afraid I'm an old-fashioned girl. I like to have everything diarized time by time so that I know when I'm starting, when I'm doing, and I'm very disciplined with that time. And it's the same in the teachings, isn't it, of meetings, you turning up late, you turning up early. You know, discipline of time is so key, and respecting other people's time. And in order of family, business, fun and wellness, I mean, that goes into what's important to the person, to the individual. Some people it's business, family, wellness, fun. Some people it's fun, business, family, wellness. Some people it's wellness, fun, then business. And family, order of priority, but it's that discipline of keeping to that time. And whether that's diary, whether that's on your phone, I don't rely on my phone. I can't trust it. So, but I have to have everything diarized for time and stick to it, because otherwise people can waste so much time. And if it means, because as we all know, we've all got the 24 hours in a day, it's the same. I don't have 25 or 26 hours, but some people fit an awful lot more in a day than other people. But it's where their priorities are in life, isn't it? And that is key for me in my business, of what people's priorities are as to how they're going to manage their time for the outcome that they personally want to achieve. And that's a big thing with, as Craig was saying about values, also encompasses in with that time management. What are their values?
Very good. Very good. So definitely use a calendar, color code, manage it like you would manage your money, and you allocate a certain amount of budget to give to charity, a certain amount of budget for coaching or education, a certain amount of budget for your basic necessities, mortgage, rent, food, and so on. Same thing for time, allocate a certain amount of time for learning and growing, certain amount of time for recruiting more team members, training them, some for your health first, right? Maybe in green or a color that you like, and some for your relations. Those are hard to outsource. Health and relations, we have to work our own body. We cannot outsource it to somebody to work out for us, right? That'd be nice. And relations thing, you sort of have to put your personal touch. Okay. Anybody has some suggestions, questions, best practices to share about time management? Anybody?
I just also add, I believe with family, you do have to be disciplined with that as well, with your time. I mean, we have a ruling of no phones at meal times, because it's not on the table anywhere near, because it's distraction. That light that flashes is the distraction. And then you're not communicating with one another. And to me, families have to communicate.
Agree. Absolutely. Even if they're introverted, like my family members, they must speak. They must say at least 5 sentences, what they're grateful for, and so forth. All right, good job. Okay, so, as you know, everything that you create in your life, we were talking about the power of vision and visualizing. It all stems from inside of you, okay? Anything that you manifest and you created or have not created in your life yet, all starts from inside your fine mind. So use this powerful tool at your advantage. Your thoughts do become your reality. So what are some of the recurring thoughts as a leader, Gayle, that you have throughout the day? Something that empowers you, maybe positive affirmations, and going back to the core values that Craig was talking about, and so on.
Well, I can't say I have specific thoughts like that. It's a knowing, and it is absolutely all the mind and the belief. For me, it's the bedrock foundation of knowing where I'm going that fuels my fire every single day. Because if I didn't have that belief of my own vision and my own goal, then maybe I would start to fizzle. Maybe my energy would go down. Maybe I wouldn't have the same drive. Maybe I wouldn't have the same enthusiasm. So for me, absolutely, it's that power of the mind of leading me forward energetically to, again, it's attraction of people, but it's that bedrock belief and knowing that, as I said earlier, that it's happening, but it's a timeline that's different. So I always believe that once you've got that solid foundation in there, opportunities arise anyway, because you're attracting it to you, and there is no such thing as a coincidence. People are put in your path for an absolute reason. You don't suddenly say, oh, I haven't seen that person for 5 years, and I've met them at the petrol station. There is a reason for that it's happened, and know what that reason is. It could just be a reminder. But there is usually a pathway, and I've always said life is full of doors, and it's up to you to walk through those doors of whether you're going to take that opportunity. But many people are afraid to step forward with an opportunity, that door to walk through and see what it's like. It could be amazing, it could be awful, but at least you've walked through that door. And so that's where I always have my mindset that creates those opportunities. And that all stems from inner belief. Core inner belief.
Great. Yeah, and you can write them down, and they can change and become stronger and stronger. Mine, of course, I turned mine into a business name. You've got the power. That's my favorite, of course. But a lot of my clients like unstoppable. I'm unstoppable, and so I have a doctor who started his whole business on that, and it's called Dyslexic and Unstoppable. Whatever it is for you, but just write it down, post it everywhere, and remind yourself, record it on voice memo. Anybody would like to share your next goal so we can support you with it? Let us see it. Let us see it in the chat box, or unmute yourself.
I do have written at the top of my board, pay now, play later, or play now and pay later.
Which one are you going to choose?
Well, it's pay now, play later. So in other words, you do the work now to be able to have the freedom to play as much as you like later.
Okay.
Or you're going to play and not build, and then you're going to pay for it later because you won't have that freedom.
Fantastic. Tash, grow your business now, leave your job later. That sounds good. That sounds good. Great work, everybody. Fantastic. Okay, so thank you for staying a little over time. We're almost done. So one more quick topic. So, life is not a walk in the park. Of course, there are challenges, and they're really here to make us stronger. And my friend Jim Rohn used to say, the bigger the challenge, the bigger the paycheck. That's your opportunity to transform that challenge into a solution, not only for yourself, but for everybody you love. And so the more problems you solve for people, the more money you're going to get paid. Actually, the universe is very fair like that. Yeah. More people you help. So, and still, we're all humans. Today itself, just today alone, I already got upset once. A friend of mine who keeps calling, I don't have time to talk to her, but she keeps calling, so that got on my nerves. We're all humans, so sometimes we kind of lose it and we need to get back to center. So how do we do that fast in a way that we don't get derailed or distracted, and we stay on path? So I know Gayle has had betrayals, has had her share of challenges. So Gayle, give some nice best practices and tips to our audience here.
Well, for me, it's personal development and mindset, and for me, it always goes back to self-belief and power of your own mind. Because it's up to me to decide if somebody's going to take me out or if I'm going to empower myself to take over the situation. That's where it always stems from, managing my own mind. And that comes from the personal development, the growth of the self-worth and the self-belief, to be able to take those massive shoves that come along to push you and test you to make sure that you absolutely 1000% you want whatever it is that you are visualizing achieving your goals are, and to be able to stick your feet in the ground, because so many people can want to derail you, but it's up to us to decide whether we want to be taken out or not. And that comes down to whether it's worth it, what our why is, and whether we believe in ourselves. So the more we grow, the bigger we're going to become, and those challenges become so much smaller. And I remember always hearing, and it goes on in my mind the whole time, and then what? And then what will happen? And then what can happen? And so what's the worst thing that can happen? And when you break it down, you break it down so small that it doesn't become a big challenge anymore. That's what I find. It's like, well, what's the worst that can happen? And even if it was that everyone was leave your business, you've got so much personal development and growth from when you started, you can do it all again. Because as they always say, don't take your mind away from you.
Very good. Thank you so much, Gayle. What about, okay, Nas says breathing, meditation, stay on course, keep growing. Yeah. Anybody else has any best practices to share or questions to ask? Let us know. And while they do that, Gayle and Craig, just put your contacts in the chat box. The chat box for everybody, or it can be your website or Facebook page. Okay.
Yes. Step backwards now to move forward.
Yes. So what about, okay, so Veronica says daily practice of stillness. Yes. And Mike, never stop learning. Yes, Mike is living proof of that. Great. And Mike has something to teach us, right, Mike? You do. One of these days, you're going to be my co-host in one of the Mastermind. He has got some great financial tips on how to be able to travel free, basically, just on credit card points. So that he has mastered. He always travels for free, very often, with his entire family. Madelon, such great information and inspiration. Thank you. You bet. You bet. Our pleasure. And let's see. Okay, just to wrap it up, and thank you for staying over time. Here in the US is the month of gratitude, okay? Let's look at that. The Native Americans may not think so, but you always got to look at the glass half full. Then what is one thing you're grateful for this month that you're moving towards? Let us see it all in the chat box. And what is it for you, Gayle?
I'm grateful for my people. I'm always grateful for my teams, for my health.
Wonderful, wonderful, very good. Okay, let's see from everybody. Theresa, Alison, Cheryl, Gillian, Ferial, Kim, Lauren, Madelon, Mike, Nas, Nikki, Sharon, Stacy, Tara, Tash, Theresa, Tina, Veronica, Yvonne, and Platinum Elite. What is one thing? Okay, Gillian, to be alive. Sharon, family. Nas, people. Very good. Theresa, family. Madelon, voiceover. Very good. That's right. Tash, family. Very nice. Very nice. And I'm grateful for the charity foundation nonprofit I'm building that does rescue orphan animals and places them in universities to help students with exam anxiety, and place them also in corporations, big ones like Amazon, Google, Facebook, to help employees with employee satisfaction and retention. There you go. So very good. Lots of family and health. Very good. You know your priorities. Very good. Very good, everybody. Fantastic. Well, you did great. It sounds like we were able to convey a lot of freebies, a lot of great information. So, Craig, do you want to say bye, and then Lady Gayle will wrap it up? Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. You know, I have a feeling that I convey to other people. I don't wish them luck, ever. I wish them success, because success is something that you can control. And for this month, I'm grateful for the opportunity that people do come to me for the purpose of teaching me something new.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you for all your generosity. We will be in touch.
Hope to hear from everybody.
Yes, you will. And I thank you all, and keep coming back and keep sharing your light and beautiful gifts this universe gave you. You are loved. And Lady Gayle, close the show.
I want to say thank you so much, Elena. It's been a great honor to co-host with you. Absolutely so thankful for you to give me this opportunity and to be able to share with people insights of different things, because we've all got different top tips and reasons for doing things and how they work and different success stories. And if anyone wants to, that doesn't know me already, that can reach out to me, I've put my email address in there. If anyone wants to reach out for me for any further consultation, information, questions, then please feel free, because as I always say, you help one person and you help many people.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. You'll get the replay, you'll get the summary, and go apply everything you've learned and create that successful empire that you deserve. Thank you, everybody. Mwah.
Thank you, Elena.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, everyone on the call.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.